Stitchery show. And it's my mom.
Of course. Who else will come? Not much of a choice.
Well, and you know what? I think it's best that my first one is my mom, because you taught me how to crochet when I was 5, 6 years old.
I know. I started you by making a chain. And you
long
kept
chain.
going. Yeah, I wouldn't let you stop the chain. You wanted, well, Mom, I want to add some. No, continue. You could wrap the chain around the house. Yes, my name is Alondra. I'm her mom. And originally from Argentina. And I've been living here since the 70s.
How did you learn how to knit, crochet, or any of that?
I learned when I was probably 5 or 6 with an aunt, Tia Paca. She was my mom's aunt, so actually my great aunt. And she taught me how to knit, not crochet. She only knew how to knit. And I was so tight when I started. That poor thing, I don't know how she had the patience to just pull the stitches out of the needle and, kind of help me. But that's how I learned. Crochet came in way after that. That's how I learned.
So why did you teach me crochet first?
I think I thought it would be easier to start with crochet than knitting, because you only handle one needle, and I just thought it would be easier. And luckily, you learn how to knit pretty much on your own, more than me.
Well, I think it was after I had Lily.
Yeah.
Well, I shouldn't say on my own. It's kind of funny how we say that. I learned on the YouTube from Chandy, Expression Fiber Arts. I watched her YouTube, and she is a great, great teacher. So if you want to learn how to knit, or I think she has tutorials on knitting and crochet, I learned from her. I thought she was fantastic. So, and then from there, books.
And you use a different method than I do.
Than you do, yeah. I use I think they call it the Continental.
No, I use the Continental.
You use the English, I thought.
Oh, maybe.
Don't you do the?
Yes.
I think that's English.
Really?
Yes. And then I think Continental is, and they say if you are a crocheter, it's best to, and you're wanting to learn how to knit, it's easier for you to learn how to do the Continental method, which is you hold the yarn in your left hand, and then you're just.
I hold it on my right.
Right. Yeah. So we may have it backwards. Not professionals here, even though we've been doing it a long time.
Yeah. Yes.
And then you have 3 kids. I'm the oldest and your favorite.
Of course.
Just kidding. So Tatiana, my youngest sibling, we're about 10 years apart. She actually picked it up about 5 years ago when she was living in San Francisco. We went over there and got her some yarn and some hooks, and she wanted to make a baby blanket for a friend, and she made some great progress.
Did she finish it? The baby's probably by now graduated from high school, but
already I think into elementary school. Who knows? Yeah. And that's how it goes. But she she did a really great job. She picked it up and then she put it away for quite a while. And then when she came to visit, she brought it and picked it back up again, because my daughter, Liliana, who you may have seen on the first episode, glimpses of her, she was helping me clean out my yarn wall. I taught her at about 6 years old crochet, and she really likes doing blankets and amigurumi type. So she makes these beautiful dragons. I may have mentioned it already, but I'll show those if she ever wants to come on here. And Liliana gifted a dragon to my sister Tatiana, and now Tatiana wants to learn. And so when she was here over Christmas, they started a dragon together. And then she brought her blanket and she made some progress on her blanket. So I just told her, keep going on the blanket, get that muscle memory in. So we'll see how that goes. She's more of a painting, drawing artist on that side of the arts, music, singing, dancing. She's in all the things. Very, very talented. And now she's looking at maybe she is writing. So maybe becoming an author one day. Who knows? So the main thing I wanted us to talk about is what we finished earlier this week, our chunky yarn bags. So I'll start.
Yes.
We bought this Lion brand Luxe tube yarn. Essentially, it's out of velvet, which I think gives it a very luxurious look and feel, back in September, and we bought 3 skeins each. She had sent me, very typical mom, she had sent me a YouTube, or not a YouTube, a TikTok or Instagram reel of someone I don't know if she's in Brazil or in Portugal, but she speaks Portuguese, and whipped one up in less than 30 minutes. Got the yarn, sat in my office for quite a while, and when she came to visit this time, she's like, well, what are some of the things you want to do? And I can help you with Colorado. And I said, let's put that on hold. I want to get this done because the yarn takes up a lot of space, and it's been sitting there. We've been talking about it. We wanted to do it at Christmas, and we didn't get around to it. My mom's is definitely closer to the initial design / pattern. I'm a very, very tight crocheter and knitter, so I typically have to go up a hook or needle size, and then you
Go down.
She's very loose, so she typically goes down. So we were giggling a lot as we were making these because we were realizing very quickly how different they are. So mine took just over 2 skeins, and then with the leftover, I made a mini. I couldn't help it because I was like, there's not really much I could do with what I had left. Mm-hmm. And hand me your phone. I just want to show them how this can barely fit a phone sideways.
And mine is the small one.
Yeah, so, and it's not a Pro. That is what she's saying. So yeah, adorable. Loved it. So this is, I think, called finger knitting, hand knitting. You know, you're just pulling up the loops, and I think they turned out really fun. I did add more rows than the tutorial because I was realizing how tight it was. So I figured it can fit my iPad and or a book. And my daughter said she claimed it, but I don't know. She was just saying that to be nice. We'll see if she actually uses it. But if not, I will definitely be using it. And I think I know you have concerns with yours about the strap, and we can show in a minute, but I think it's pretty good. So it's connected on one end, and then you sew it down on the other end. And then to combine the yarns, the best method is to hand sew with needle and thread. The tutorial said, like I said earlier, she said she took about 30 minutes. It was 30 minutes alone just to combine the 2 skeins of yarn or 3 skeins of yarn. I still need to sew, so this is what it looks like on the end, and I still need to sew that down. But we had a really, really good time. You've already been using your bag. I may have some footage of her out in the wild, taking her to
the wild.
To Trader Joe's.
My bow and arrow over in there. Yeah.
Okay, not that wild. Just out not in this office space, outside the house.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was. And I think it'd make a great gift knit. So show yours.
Okay.
Because if not, we'll be talking about these forever, like we did the last time we recorded.
Here's mine. Quite a bit bigger than Natalie's, and quite a bit looser. I love it. I love the color. I love the texture. As you can see, mine is not as professional looking like Natalie says, because she's very good at having everything even. I'm all over the place. My concern now, I mean, it's a big bag, and I don't carry too much, but sometimes I do, and I don't want to have to worry about this. And I'm not planning on using the chain as a handle very much. So I said I wasn't going to do it, but I might just undo 1 row so that I can have enough yarn to go either 1 more strap or make an extra row on this, on the strap when I do it again, so it could be a little bit stronger. That's the only thing. And I do want to line mine. Usually what I carry, they're not little things. I mean, they're not going to fall through the holes. I just think it will give me a peace of mind that it's something like a chopstick or something goes through a crochet hook. A crochet hook. I don't want it to go through it. So that's my take. But I love it. I love the look of it. The feel. It feels so posh.
It does. It really does.
Yes.
And probably two more things to add is ours kind of flares out at the top. If you look
Yes.
at the original design, she tightened it so it's cinched in and it looks really nice and even more polished. I was nervous to do that because I wanted to be able to get into the bag. So just something to note. The other thing is we actually talked about maybe doing a proper bind off instead of looping it out like
Which we saw on another,
Yeah, oh,
someone else
other-
does it like that, and it looks very nice.
yeah,
Very nice.
other ones they have done that. This is this method is similar to how you cinch the top of a beanie or mittens. You know, you kind of run it through the loops.
But it's
and
to
tighten it.
cinch it.
Right,
Right.
right, right. The last thing I'll mention is when I got to the end of the skein, the first skein, which was right about here, you may not be able to see it, or even here, because of the yarn sitting in the skein on the inside, because I started from the outside, it was very crumpled, wrinkled, and it felt almost thinner. So I probably should have either let it sit out and relax, because I noticed it didn't do it on the mini one, but the yarn had sat out for a while before I started the mini one. So I think either letting it sit out or doing a light steam to just kind of fluff it out would have helped. I think those are maybe the two things I would do different next time to try and see, especially the top, and then maybe loosen mine. I mean, it's like stiff as a board.
We're definitely getting more of this yarn.
Yeah. The other thing I wanted to show that I've been working on is, I've mentioned, the Sophie hoods by Petite Knit. Kind of have a funny story about my mom's Sophie scarf, which we'll get to in a little bit. But this is actually for my mom. She asked me to make a Sophie hood in gray. This is out of Expression Fiber Arts worsted weight. I don't remember what it's called, but it's 50% merino wool and 50% mulberry silk, I believe. Very squishy, very luxurious. It is on the higher end price point, but it is.
She has some beautiful yarn.
Yeah, a lot of the yarn in my yarn collection is from her. The one thing about this yarn, I thought I'd mention, it is a single ply, so it may not be good for all the things, but it's even for, I think because of the strength of the silk, usually with a single ply, it kind of comes apart easily when you pull on it, but this does not come apart very easily. Again, I think it's the strength of the silk. A joy to knit. And I am knitting her the large length, and I think it may take the full 3 skeins that I had on hand. The other thing I'll mention is, so these are 1 and 2 Sophie hoods, 1 and 2. So I made this one first, and actually it's the second time I had to make it. I made a small initially with mohair, and at the end I got to about there and I ran out of the mohair. So I had to undo it. My son graciously helped me do that and save the mohair for something else. Luckily, I still had plenty of yarn. Actually, the yarn is originally from this sweater. This is a Veronica sweater. I don't remember who the designer is. I think Shannon something, but I'll put it obviously in the description. But this yarn, it's by Shabui, which has been discontinued. It was their worsted line. I have a friend that I'd like for her to decide if she wants this one or this one. Initially, this one was for her. My best friend, she's very knitworthy, and she picked this yarn over the phone, so she didn't get to feel it, but she's very, very sensitive. And when I held the yarn, it was very soft. This one, I think it's Moonshine. I bought it in Austin, and she loved the color, but obviously couldn't try it. But now that I finished it and washed it, the wool content that is in here, it just kind of came out like a cactus, I feel like. And it's pretty, it does have a little bit of an itch to it, so it will definitely not work for her, I don't think. But I'm gonna let her decide, and if for some reason she doesn't want this one, I will go and I'll make her another one, no problem. And maybe she can come with me to pick the yarn. And if not, I have a backup person who I absolutely know would love this. But I think this color would look really good on.
It's beautiful.
Really good on her.
Very pretty.
So those are the 2 hoods that are finished. And then I thought I'd mention to go with the teal hood, maybe a little too, all this teal. I also made, with some of the leftover yarn, these are called the Toasted or Toasty Mitts by Leslie Friend. She's the YouTuber and she's on Instagram. She reminds me so much of Val, of your friend Val. And anyway, so she has this pattern and you can see it's like a wrist warmer. Mm-hmm. No holes for the fingers or thumbs other than the top. And this I think is great for when you don't want a mitten or a glove, but you still want easy access to a phone. But if it gets a little too cold, you could always pull it just up and kind of fold it over to kind of warm your fingertips a little bit. One thing I did do different, of course, it is snug because again, I'm a tight knitter. I did use DPNs. Is after the cast on, I knit a row and then I purled a row. And for me, it was just to prevent the curling. I know in the original pattern, she has the curling and it is, I think, a great design element, but I didn't want that for this. So I also did it at the end. So right before I bound off, I purled a row, knit a row, and then bound off. So I did not count my rows. I measured. I think it turned out pretty even. I'd still need to block these, but I think they're super cute.
I would have put holes for the thumbs.
The thumbs, yeah.
But that's just my personal preference.
Yeah. And then one more, and then I'll let my mom talk about something else she's working. So here's the Sophie scarf that I started on my way to Colorado to look at homes. Fingers crossed, we put an offer on a house, and it's been verbally accepted, and then we're just waiting on the contract. So we'll give you an update as if that works out or not, probably on the next one. But I did the Sophie scarf. This is, I think, on a discontinued yarn. It was something in my stash. I'll put the name of it in the description. Very soft. And I think I'm now at the halfway mark where I'm starting my decreases. But I wanted something just kind of small. Whenever I travel, I like to start with something really, really small or just start something new. Everything else I have is kind of on the heavier or at the end.
Big project.
Yeah, a big project or where
Bulky.
It's a little, or it's at the complicated point or I have to do something. I have to calculate or measure or something like that.
You want something easy.
Yeah, I wanted something easy. So I have that on the go. But before we go over to you, a fun story, which I'm sure somebody out there can relate. My mom.
Very few.
No, I'm sure there's more. So my mom had started the Sophie scarf. Gosh.
Oh, I thought.
But like 6 months or maybe even further back.
Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? Beautiful yarn. I think it was a Katia yarn. How do I remember some of these yarns? I don't even know, but I can't remember what day it is. This beautiful gray yarn. And she brought it over and you were like about here? Mm-hmm. Yeah, about there.
1/3 or more.
Yeah. And she was like, Natalie, I'm struggling. I don't know what is going on. And so I look and and I was like, well, and I'm like, it seemed okay. Cause so she pulls out the pattern. So the pattern again is the Sophie scarf by Petite Knits or Knit. I don't know if it's plural. The pattern she showed me was called Le Petit, maybe something, by Espastrico, one of their initial patterns. And that one is, I believe, a triangle wrap / shawl, not like a triangle, even triangle, but an odd shaped triangle.
And much bigger than the Sophie.
Much bigger than it was like a big shawl, and it was stockinette, where the Sophie scarf is garter.
And she had mine in garter.
Yours was, yes, your scarf was in garter, but you were still, even reading the pattern, it's essentially 2 rows, and every other row in Le Petit, you increase. But it's stockinette, so it's 1 knit, 1 purl, 1 knit, 1 purl, and there was no I-cord. And so here she was just she started increasing, still incorporating the I-cord and still doing it garter. So she wasn't really following the pattern much at all, except for the increases. So anyways, she saw Le Petite on the top of the pattern, and that's why she, yeah. So
I grabbed it, put it in the little bag, and off we went.
yes.
And
So that was funny. So I think we're gonna try, and I do this too. Like we work better to be note taking, and especially when we put projects away for a long period of time. So she undid it, and since I was working on a gray one anyways, I think you're gonna do something else.
I frogged it. Yeah.
Yeah, you frogged it.
Yeah.
So that's the story behind the petites.
Yes, the petite. Yeah.
So what are you working on right now?
This is just a little something to keep me going here. I don't want to start another project at the moment. I've seen them all over Instagram and TikTok. It's you knit this rectangle 16 by
Crochet.
No, 18 by 60 centimeters, which I don't remember what it is in inches. I ask Siri all the time. She tells me, but I forget. And you knit them, and once you have it knitted, you're going to sew it like this, and then you use it as a cowl, and it's not bothersome. It flips over. It looks very nice. And so my granddaughter, I had finished one yesterday, and I had asked her to try it. And I thought she was going to just flip it off and say, forget it. But she loved it. And actually, she asked me for one in this color and another one in a camel coat. I'm just using Heartland, which I love Heartland yarn for projects like this. And yeah, I'm going to finish this. And
you know what it reminds me of when you sewed up a cannoli?
Yeah. Yeah.
It kind of looks like a cannoli. And that yarn too, Liliana uses it for her dragons.
Yes, yes.
In fact, she took quite a bit from your stash.
I know. I may be running out of this, so I need to go up and look at her stash and see. I might need a few yards to finish it. But
it looks great.
Yeah. My other project is this thing. It's a shawl. Again, I'm not good with instructions. I kind of run with my own. I had put the instructions with it, but I guess I stopped knitting for a while, and then when I started again, I started somewhere else in the pattern. Therefore, the triangle is very narrow at the bottom. I even asked Natalie, what if we just steamed the bottom? But I don't think that's going to work. Having said that, I was going to use it as a cowl, but I tried it as a shawl, and it really covers the back. I thought it was going to be too narrow, but it really covers. Anyway, I thought I would add this little flakes on it just to make it a little different. I don't know if I like it or not. With it, the yarn is amazing. I love it. We saw this on a trip that we made to Vail for Christmas, and we went into a yarn shop, and I saw this package. This was like a thing, and absolutely loved it.
It had multiple small skeins.
Right, and it even uses material. Like this is
fabric.
Just fabric. So I don't know if I should leave the flakes, put more flakes, or take them off altogether.
I think it's funny that you call them flakes. I think it's funny that you call them flakes.
But what are they? I don't know. Strings, puppets on a string. So anyway. But I really enjoyed it. I used circular needles, very thick. They were wooden. I just love this company. They make all sorts of these packets that they combine, and they have beautiful things. It was supposed to start as a cowl.
Yeah, you've had an eye on her yarns for quite a while.
Yes, they have sweaters that they have made, short sleeves that, oh my gosh.
I've been trying to find I cannot find it, but I will find the actual name of the yarn dyer / producer. So I know she uses fabric, like recycled saris, which has silk, a lot of silk content in it. But the other thing you did to make it go further and make it more affordable was you integrated Lion brand. I think it's Thick and Quick, and it has the gold stellina running through it.
Yes.
And then you crocheted the border.
I did. I finished it with crochet because the other way was twirling up, like what you were saying, to add a row at the end so it doesn't ravel up. So the crochet helped it, and I haven't blocked it. Right. I'm scared because I think I'm going to end up with a train in the back if I block it. But it's very warm, and yeah, I think I'd be able to use it as a shawl. I mean, I am.
think it's beautiful. I think it's really, really
But
pretty.
I don't know about this. They look like antennas, coming out like woo. So like electricity is running through.
I think leave them on for a while longer and see.
Add more or?
I don't know. Let us know. What do you think? Add more? Make them longer, maybe different lengths. I don't know if that would make a difference.
Well, what I did is I kind of cheated and I used the ends instead of, some of them I had to weave them in, but some of them I just pulled them through, and which I can always go and tuck them in, and some of them are just a little piece that I just tied on it.
Yeah.
But
I think it's beautiful.
I love the colors. I like a lot of the rust color. I love that. So we'll see how they end up.
Funny, I thought I'd mention, because I know I mentioned this in the first episode, this blanket, my mom had made it as well. And just to show or talk about, I guess, the difference, because we don't have hers here, of the tightness and the looseness, is her blanket, I think, is at least, she did the same number of blocks and everything. And I think it still turned out over 50% bigger than mine. I mean, mine's like a lap blanket. And I think, of course, the original was probably, the designer's was probably in between ours. But hers is the drape on it is actually really nice. Mine is just really dense.
Of course,
we'll have to show it sometime.
Anything that I make, if she makes the same thing or vice versa, hers looks so professional, so well finished. Mine looks like a chicken butt. I mean, they always have something. She's like my mom. My mom used to sew or knit. She wasn't, she crocheted too. But the inside of her garments look almost as good as the outside. And that's how Natalie is. I mean, perfection. I'm not like that. I just like to finish it. I see it, I want to do it and finish it, and hide the errors.
I think, well, you enjoy the process, but you really sometimes are motivated by the product. So they say, are you a process maker or a product maker?
Yes. And
I'm a bit of both. I enjoy the process, and then there are times where if something's been languishing, like I made a Mirabilia Andromeda, and I finished, and right after, I think when I got laid off in the summer from work, I just had this desire to just finish all the languishing projects. I didn't finish all of them, but I did finish quite a few, one of them being the Andromeda. Which she's posted on my Instagram. I haven't framed her or anything. We'll wait to do that after we get to Colorado. But this is another one that I was like, I'm just gonna finish it. So this one, I don't remember, I haven't posted her on Instagram yet, but I believe the pattern is called Limelight. I'll put a correction if it's different. I nicknamed it the Secret Garden. The colors are actually very close to the original, if I remember correctly. The secondary yarn, or this lighter color yarn, is just absolutely gorgeous. It reminds me of a Monet of some sort. It has the greens and the pinks, like a garden. I mean, it's just beautiful. And I feel like the lace looks a lot like leaves. So it's just really, really pretty. So I'll post some finished pictures soon on that. And then I'll get better about posting on Ravelry, which I don't know if I told you, but Liliana, she started a Ravelry account. So with all her dragons, and last weekend or the weekend before, we went through her yarn stash and consolidated and combined and organized for the move. And I think her eyes opened up when she realized how much much yarn she had. Yeah. So I think she was like, I need to make some more dragons before I said, before you buy any more yarn or look at buying more yarn. She's pretty good about holding back when it comes to buying stuff. Usually, and sometimes
she's not my granddaughter when it comes to shopping.
No, she did not get that from you at all. She's very disciplined, and and there are times where I'm like, are you sure you don't want this? Like, I feel like you might. And she goes, no, maybe later, and I'm like, well, it might not be here, especially some certain hand-dyed ones that we've run into. And she goes, well, if it's not, it's not. I'm just like, oh my gosh.
I know.
That's fantastic. That's great. And so I just shut my mouth and I'm like, yes, please keep with that mentality, because I have that And I feel like I got worse after COVID, and then Hurricane Harvey, the freeze we had in 21, like having that fear of not missing out, but a fear of not being able to.
Mm-hmm.
And it unfortunately shifted into the projects and the knitting and the crochet and, you know, not being, and it's ridiculous. I have plenty. I have more than enough that will last me probably for the rest of my life. But
I know, and I worry that the yarn that I have, which is nothing compared to what she has, and mine is a variety of cheap and a few nice ones, that I don't have enough life to finish all the yarns.
the hard part too is the desire to support the fiber art community,
yes.
and especially the small businesses, trying not to buy at the big box stores. They definitely have their purpose. I mean, being able to see things in person, and definitely
Well, they're cheaper too.
Well, I was about to say some of the more affordable aspect, but
Yeah.
and especially here, we don't have access to a lot of yarn shops. I mean, there's a few. So the closest one to you is the
Park Avenue.
Park Avenues, who also does fabric. They have a beautiful selection. And I know way up north, there's a store, very similar name. She's called the Modern Skein, I believe. I haven't been to her store. She's pretty far from me, but it'd probably be an hour and a half drive, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been following her for a while. I think Shannon, but she has some really cool stuff. We actually both met her at that yarn festival that we went to in Houston. That's in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that they held it in the summer made it really hard to even want to buy yarn because it was so hot.
I know.
But that'll change in Colorado.
Yes.
It'll be different.
Yes.
So it'll be nice checking out the yarn shops or stitchy shops that are there, and who knows, maybe.
Well, also, like I was telling you, I'm really amazed and surprised how many young people have jumped on the crochet and the knitting wagon. They're really, some of them, they're very young and they've been at it for a while. I mean, and the pieces they come up with, and so different and so, I don't know, I just love it. But I'm really amazed. I know COVID had a lot to do with it, but some of these young people would have been maybe 12 during COVID or 13, and I don't think that's when they picked it up. It's probably later. Even our family, we kind of started a crochet chat with our family that lives down even in a warmer climate. And we called ourselves the Crochet Queens, I think.
The Crochet Queens.
Yes. Yeah. And my sister-in-law has picked it up. She knew how to crochet, but she had forgotten about it. So now she's picked it up. And her daughters. So, I mean, and they're all young, very young. And so it really, really amazes me on the young people. I love it.
Well, I think the thing I've been most impressed with is how fast they picked it up.
Oh, yeah.
And
but also don't forget
of the work.
Right. Don't forget
good.
that they have the help of internet, YouTube.
Oh,
We didn't
younger
have
folks.
that.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
we had books, and that's how we did it, was with books or talking to one another, or which very few people here in Houston knitted at that time. Now they have groups, and not as many as you will find where you're going, but they do have them. But I'm just amazed. And like you said, our family, how quickly they have picked it up. And
I think part of it too is the desire to, well, one is, it's kind of contradictory. One is being exposed to it with the internet and social media, but also the desire to want to cut back on using said social media and internet for the doom scrolling. So I know there's this trend going around, they call it the analog bag. And essentially, and it's funny because I kind of had one already. It was having a book. I like Sudoku and some knitting or stitching, word search, like things that have nothing to do with technology, you know.
But yet you need the technology to do it. Like I like to play games and word games
Certain
and
ones,
all
but
that.
I bought the actual physical book
Okay.
to get me off the screen.
I could
but
never find the books. I will probably lose them somewhere in the house. So for me,
so that's like the big trend, the analog bag, getting people off the screens. And so I think that's also helping with the resurgence of the crafty things, how a lot of things blend, crossover or blend. So for example, with reading, you have a lot of readers that started book bedazzling, and that's a craft in its own. So
I like diamond painting. Yeah.
right. So, and then it's like, oh, well,
If I can
if you can
bedazzle
do
this,
that, you can start diamond painting. And then sometimes that evolves into cross stitching or embroidery. And then there was someone, I believe it was on TikTok, if I know who it was that did it. I know there's so many aspects of this, so I don't want to call her the original. Maybe she is, but like she crochets the colors of a book that she's read, grainy squares. And so then I don't know what she does with the finish, but I imagine, like, for 2025, here's all the books I read, and it's all the colors.
That's neat. Yeah.
The other one is embroidering a sweatshirt, almost look like tattoos on a sleeve of a sweatshirt of something from the book. So if it had a dragon in it, she stitched just a simple hand embroidery of a dragon or a sun or anything that remind you of, like, that had to do with the book. But I mentioned I love the crossover aspect, in the sense I may have one right here. I hand sewed a book cover. Yeah, here it is. This is I hand sewed this, well, with the machine, but here's a book cover I made because I love this fabric. Can't get it anymore. Stinking Joanne's not around anymore, but I wanted a book. I looked online to see if a maker, had done it in a similar fabric. But of course, once I have my mind on something, that's the one I want.
She does.
Yeah. So a lot of my crafty things, I like to have very similar. You can notice the colors. Gosh darn it. You can see these colors and what I'm wearing.
All over your house.
All over my house, and especially in my office. But anyways, the crossover. So the hand sewing of the making a book cover,
for something you enjoy also doing, which is reading,
which is reading, right? And the same thing. I have project bags that I have made. While I would love to go and buy a project bag from makers, and I have, but, like, for example, what I'm always scared of is that maker's not going to make it anymore. And then I want to buy another one, and then it looks different. This is a quirky side of me. Maybe someone else is like this. It's just the way it is. And so all of my cross-stitch project bags, for example, each fabric is different, but it's from the same family. So it's white with some sort of silver, shiny element to it. And then the inside is a different color of my favorite colors. So that's, and so all the project bags look the same. And then actually some of the fabrics are these right here. So then it leads me to English paper piecing, which we started. So I started English paper piecing because I wanted a cover for my Lowry stand, which is an embroidery or cross-stitch stand that holds your hoop, frame, or Q-snap. And with the animals, cats and all that, it gets dirty, and I like to leave it on the stand when I'm in the middle of a project because I will more likely get back to it. If I put it away, it goes away for months, which has happened. So of course I had to make my own with my favorite colors and fabrics and all the things. So I started learning English paper piecing, and eventually this will turn into something. And then I'm about 90% with all of the hexes. And then now I'm trying to decide if I want to embroider or cross-stitch something to break up all the hexes in the middle, or something to kind of give it some more customization in it. But that's just how I am about stuff like that. And then I will probably also make, with similar fabric, something to hold when I do put the rods, like the rods that are on the frame, it's like a long tube, make a project bag for that. I've always wanted to make my own knitting needle and crochet hook cases. I have some and I love them, but I've wanted to make my own. So the crossovers, I live for the crossovers. They take me obviously a lot longer because I'm not as proficient in them as I am with knitting and crochet, for example. While we're talking about English paper piecing, why don't you talk about yours? we're not saying my mom screws everything up. My mom makes.
Yes, I do.
Where's this actually the skirt you're making?
Oh, I have it in the other room.
Okay, we're gonna after you talk about the English paper piece, we're gonna have to pause and bring that here because she does make beautiful pieces, and the thing I'm always in shock about is how she can make things without a pattern. The same thing with Yamina, her sister-in-law, my aunt. She just whips things up. She's like, she makes this like
It
block
starts
of
as a
like,
blanket and it turns into a vest.
top or something. She's like, I'm gonna make this into a top, and my mind just, you know. Obviously, I know it's possible, but it's just amazing.
Of course, monkey see, monkey do. Everything that Natalie does, I want to do, except for the stitching. That one, I don't have the eyesight or the patience for the work that she does, which is beautiful. So anyway, she started with this, and I thought, oh, that is something neat. That it's small. I can take it with me, or I can do it while I'm watching TV, which I do a lot. So figure I will do it. Well, it starts. You cut out the paper. I mean, the paper you can get them already cut out, which I did, and she bought me this beautiful little packets that they had at Park Avenue, that store that we go to in Friendswood. And you cut out the little hexie out of it. So you can sew it, or there's another way that you can glue it. Well, for sewing, basting. For sewing or basting, it was really hard for me. For some reason, my hands, whatever. So I decided, just glue this. So I got my glue stick, the little Elmer's glue sticks, and I just went to town with it. So I showed Natalie one day. I said, look, I mean, I had made quite a few. And she was actually impressed. And I said, yeah. I said, the only thing, I said, it takes a lot of glue. I mean, I've already finished a bottle. She goes, what?
That was a red flag.
Yeah. And she goes, what? And I said, yes. And she goes, let me see them. You could not, and you're supposed to take the paper out once you're done. You couldn't. It was so stuck, like everything I do. So I brought them over to this time that I came to stay with her a couple of days at the house because we live an hour away. And she helped me get them out. And I don't know what I'm going to, because there's still a lot of glue on it. So I think she came out with a good idea to wash them in a bag and maybe.
And I think some were sacrificed because they were just too rough glued to save. Mm-hmm. But what cracked me up was how, we were just talking about how I'm tight with stuff. Maybe it's because I hold a lot of tension and my stress, whatever. And you're just go with the flow, loosey-goosey. Yeah. But those hexies, they were tight. You could not put a needle through it. That was part of the problem. And it was.
I'll end up doing it. But
no, I think you can do it again. And yeah. So I think we just wash them, try again, and then you can still glue it, but the fact that you used a whole bottle of the Elmer stick, which is even thicker than some of the sewing glues.
I know. What I'm going to do with mine, if I ever get done with it or around with it, is a cover for the sewing machine, like the lady on YouTube.
Oh, we love watching Kiko Sabi. Oh, I don't think that's her actual name. That's her handle name on YouTube.
Yes. She does the Sashiko.
Sashiko.
Yep. Sashiko, and she makes these little hexagons and has made beautiful, beautiful pieces for her.
Yeah, we're very inspired by her work.
Yes, she's very
intentional,
yes.
Yeah, very intentional with her makes.
Yeah.
And I think the thing I like about watching her, so it's a tradition that we watch every time an episode comes out. Sometimes we miss a couple, but
we FaceTime together.
We FaceTime and we watch it together. So we can't get ahead of each other. But similar, what I was getting at is the crossover. How a lot of things are crossed over. She's like, oh, I'm going to stitch a sewing machine cover or a keyboard cover or something like that. Like it crosses over into her other hobbies.
Or then she crochets, or then she knits.
She does all the things too. We have the skirt.
The skirt. The thread is called Omega. I've noticed that they have it in Amazon. I bought these in Mexico like 20 years ago. I'm hoping I'm going to have enough of the gray, because if I have to buy more, they still make this gray and all the colors, but I'm sure the dye is going to be totally different. This was a skirt that I did with my mom. She's been gone now for 40 years. No, 34 years at this age. And I don't know where it is. I made the skirt and the top. and I can't find it. So I decided to duplicate it. And it's a pattern that you can only crochet in the round. It has this real pretty leaves thing. And so I have another set already done that I made in a lavender, which is really pretty. And it has a top. The top actually starts at the top and you go around and around. But I want to make this one a little bit different. So it will probably be a regular crochet thing here, and maybe just the sleeves go with this pattern that I said you can only go on the round. But that's what it is. The crochet size hook that I use, it's 3.0, 2.2 millimeters. It's a tulip. And yeah, that's it.
And
right
you
now.
said the thread was a size 2, or
Omega number 2.
Number 2.
From what I understand, they come in different numbers. I've only bought the Omega. This is 100% nylon, and it's nice because it gives the skirt a weight. Yes, so it doesn't. I'm assuming if you knitted this with yarn, it would just kind of fluff up or something. I don't know, but with this type of thread, it has the weight,
right?
And I think it makes it better.
But you've made a lot of things
with this
that.
thread.
Yeah,
yes,
with that thread.
A lot of thread. I used to use this a lot, which I recommend if you're learning how to crochet or something. First start with thicker yarn, and once you get the hang of that, then, because the thinner one is always a little bit
like the thing you were known for that I remember helping you make were the socks.
The socks, yes, beaded socks, which I'm fixing to make a pair that the daughter of a friend asked me, and I felt very pleased. I used to make her socks when she was a baby, and I used to crochet little beads on it. She's getting married, and she asked me to make a pair of socks for her when she changes to her second outfit. So,
is it just for her or for her wife,
for her
or
and
future wife?
Her future wife. Yeah. So I'm gonna make them, and hopefully next time we can show them all.
Yeah.
I'll give
so it's just regular crew type socks, and you would use the nylon, and then she would incorporate she would incorporate the beads with it. So, and I remember cranking those out. Tatiana had, my sister, she had every color.
Yes,
every color.
And all her little friends.
All her friends had them.
Yes.
Cheerleaders, so she was in cheerleading, and they all had them.
Yeah.
It was a lot, but
I love making, and it was always done with this thread.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. It's been a pleasure.
Okay. Well, I'm sure I'll have her again soon, maybe in Colorado. I don't know. Things are moving faster than we thought, but
hopefully still in Houston. Yes, we should.
Yeah. No, we should get another one in. So, okay.
Ta-da!
Ciao.
Ciao.